I'm going to record. We haven't gone live yet. I'm about to go live. We are live with Melissa. How do you spell her name? Melissa.
You are.
Oh, yeah. E-S-T-I.
U-R-E-S-T-I.
With Crown. There it was.
Crown Salon and Color Bar.
Yes. Crown.
1 minute, 1
Salon
second.
Color. Okay, share. And we're going live on Facebook right now. Go live.
Are we going to have the same visual of our "we're live" as last week? Because every time that runs by on Facebook.
What?
That I always laugh because.
Oh, that's funny.
You know, we did the Young Frankenstein last week.
Oh, yeah. That's hilarious.
So, you know, I'm like, what? We're live? We're alive!
Yeah. We are live, though.
We are live.
We are.
So.
Oh,
So
great.
exciting.
Let me turn my volume down.
I can double hear myself.
I know. Don't you love when you can double hear when
love-
people like accidentally on purpose put the volume on their phone on?
22 seconds.
Okay, guys. So we're glad you're tuning in to Riding the Wave with Angie and Kelly. And we're about to go live on the radio. Angie's about to take us live on 99.5 FM.
I am the doctor.
That's right. You're the doctor of sound, the sound doctor.
Betty. And good afternoon, everybody out there
Hi.
on KHEA Radio 99.5.
That's
this
right.
is
Riding the Wave with Angie and Kelly. Hi.
Right here. We're so excited to, I would say, see everyone today, but, you know, it's radio, so you're hearing us. We just discussed the other day when people say you have a face for radio.
Yeah.
You know. But, you
yeah,
know,
that's
nowadays
hilarious.
they can't say that because now you can see us and everything.
That's right.
So,
Exactly. You can still see us, but it's fun to be here with you, Angie, like we are on Mondays. It's so much fun, and it's gorgeous weather today.
It is. I walked outside and, you know, there's Christmas decorations everywhere, even though we haven't had Thanksgiving yet.
I know.
But it is kind of weird this year because the week after Thanksgiving is already December the 1st. And so
it feels a little odd.
That weekend. But I walked outside. Mike and I were furniture shopping for his new house. And I walked out and it was so hot. And I was like, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. You know, and I was like.
Looking is the key word there, not feeling.
Because it did not feel
No.
at all. But you know what's funny is that sometimes we have Thanksgiving down at my mom's house.
Yeah.
And she lives right on the seawall in Galveston.
Oh,
and so,
fun.
you know, it's so beautiful to
Yeah.
look out. But about half of the years we're, you know, freezing
Yeah,
and nobody
I
wants to go outside. We just look out through the big window or whatever.
Yeah.
And then half the times we spend time on the beach and run around and, you know, it's great to go on walks on the beach because it's 80 degrees on Thanksgiving.
I know. Isn't it funny? It's Thanksgiving kind of always is one of those holidays that you literally, it's a toss up if you're going to be wearing a coat and boots or you're going to be wearing a swimsuit.
Right.
I mean, it just is. I mean, you never know. And even if the weather person says it's going to be cold or great, who knows?
Yeah.
I don't think they know either.
Well, you know, I said that earlier about Halloween. You know, if your kid's dressed like Tinkerbell, it's going to be 2 degrees at Halloween, and if your kid's Winnie the Pooh and fur from head to toe, then it's going to be 90 degrees.
Oh, yeah, that's funny.
And it absolutely could be either.
Yeah, exactly.
2 or 90. You know?
That's the point.
So, but, you know, isn't that the saying in Texas, if you don't like the weather, just wait around a few minutes and it'll change?
It literally, it's crazy.
But I saw a meme one time on Facebook that had something to the effect of, you know, weather in Houston, and it was like a snowstorm, and then people were at the beach, and then they're shivering, and then it would say Thursday's weather. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Well, you know, I always thought, you know, I could get a job as a weather analyst person because I'd get up there and just kind of guess. Tomorrow's going to be freezing, so grab your coats. But, you know, there's always a 50-50 chance. It could rain and be hot.
That's right.
So, you know, I mean, really, it's almost like I don't try to listen to the weather
but they have
anymore.
all of those machines that they pay millions of dollars for, and your guessing would probably be about as good.
No, I mean, that's what I'm thinking. And it's always, there's a 50% chance. Okay, really?
Well, you remember back in the day they used to have the Farmer's Almanac?
Yes.
And they literally could look a year in advance or whatever, and when you should plant things and stuff like that. And I would be like, how do they know a year in advance? We can't even tell the weather with all of these things in the next day.
I don't know. I know. I'm thinking, who would go by that and depend on that for your livelihood?
Yeah.
But a lot of people still probably go by some things like that, depending on how reliable it's been, I guess. But that's crazy.
It is weird how we, depend on our computers and stuff like that. I always I know my boyfriend is a pilot, and we laugh. Hey, Mike. And for Southwest Airlines, and at the beginning of the flight, they'll tell the flight attendants, all right, so I'm going to do my best Mike impression.
Yeah.
So the weather today is going to be partly cloudy. He's very chill, very chill. And but they'll tell us that, it's going to be bumpy or not bumpy. It should be, snowy, rainy, whatever. And we're talking about the most sophisticated weather service in the world, probably, that these pilots go by, and it's still never right. I mean, we're talking about just the day or just the flight. They'll say it's going to be clear. Should be safe. Get up whenever y'all want.
Yeah.
And then we get up and it's turbulent and we're flying all over the cabins and you're like, what? They could, so weather cracks me up.
And it is funny because you said that, it's almost like that very soothing voice when the pilot comes on and tells you what the flight's going to be like, the weather's going to be great.
That's right.
Got a smooth flight for you, going to get you there on time. Expect everything. And then, you get up, okay, we have some unexpected turbulence. Please remain in your seats and no drinks or food allowed.
But does it make you feel good if they talk in there?
They do. It's funny because it does kind of give you that sense of, okay, yeah, he's feeling pretty good today, so we're going to be safe.
If he's chill and relaxed.
Yeah, exactly. And Angie, it's a congratulations for you today. I think it's today. Your 20th anniversary as a flight attendant. Was that yesterday?
So technically yesterday was my 19th anniversary, right? So when you have an anniversary, it's the end, right?
Yes.
So I say today starts my 20th year.
That's right. I do love that. And then your 25th year with Southwestern.
Southwestern.
I'm so used to my son
Southwestern
going
Airways. Do you know how many people call it that? Southwestern Airways.
Look, my son went to Southwestern University, and it is a habit. Anything that is near Southwest, I say Southwestern. Yeah,
it's funny because people do say that. Yes, I work for Southwestern Airways. But, I worked at the ticket counter for 5 years.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, so I was your customer service girl.
So I always thought it would be funny to do a skit where if you were working at the airlines and you had to, say their ticket number. A is for apple. R is for rat. Did you ever have to explain somebody's ticket, or what did you do at a ticket counter?
Yeah, well, I worked at Delta Airlines for a year in reservations.
Oh,
so
could you keep the reservations though, or did you just make them?
I just made them. And I think it's so hysterical. There is a David Spade interview.
Yeah,
not an interview, a skit that he did, and I know this is a visual, so only if you're watching on Facebook can you really tell. But I'm going to be typing a lot if you're on the radio. But so David Spade, somebody will say, I'd like to go from Houston to San Antonio.
Yeah.
And he'd go, okay. And you're like, oh my gosh. And so then he'd go, what day?
Yeah.
Type. And then he would say, what's funny is that you think that would be like a very short thing, but he'd make it go out for 9 minutes, however long he's typing. And so when I worked in reservations, I would go, it is weird because you have to kind of go from screen to screen and pull down the ones with, it's like a name.
There's a little bit of truth in that skit.
Yeah, there's a little bit of truth to how, how they're putting it together, and they're making this name thing and getting,
that's hilarious.
Well, and it's not as bad as that, but it really is hysterical how long it took to make a reservation. But
that's funny.
But I worked in reservations for a year, and I was like, I like seeing people and talking to them.
Yeah.
Why do I work in radio? Oh,
yeah.
This is the same thing. Can't see you out there, but I love having you here. But Yeah. Anyway, so I worked at the ticket counter for 5 years here in Houston for 2 and 3 years in Los Angeles.
Wow.
And then I went in flight and so 25 years.
Yeah.
So starting.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I started.
How old
in
were?
April,
Well,
so.
I'm not going to ask how old you were, but you were young.
I started when I was. I started working at Southwest when I was 29 years old.
Okay. Oh, I love that.
And
That's
isn't
exciting.
it weird that Amber is 29 years old, my middle child?
Yeah,
So-
it is crazy.
So Candace was 1,
Oh,
almost 2.
Yeah.
And so they were 2, 5, and 8.
Wow.
And now they are 26, 29, and 32.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's exciting.
It is. So anyway, yes, thank you. I appreciate that.
And absolutely, I'm so proud of you. And if you're listening out there or watching on Facebook, I think it has become rare for people to work in the same industry for years unless they're really, really happy, or unless they're miserable. That's all they know how to do, and they don't want to take the chance. They feel like they're stuck. But if you have been working in the same industry for more than 20 years, let us know that what you have been in. And for how long you've been working in it, because I really think that's interesting. When I saw that today, I knew that you had been doing this for a while, but I thought, oh my gosh, I'm so proud of her. It's a big deal.
I have longevity.
You do have longevity.
But I think it's funny though. I know a lot of people think flight attendants are gone all the time.
Yeah.
But it is the entire opposite. I am able to stay with this job, have been able to keep this job for so many years because I work 2.5 days a week. If I want to work more, I can, but our schedules run, 3 days.
Yeah.
And so it's a job where you don't get burned out. You can pursue other interests. Obviously, I've been able to do radio, TV, and my emceeing on, all of that stuff.
That's great.
As another almost entire career.
Yeah.
And that's been so great because I think that is one problem with longevity in a job is people get burned out and, they get tired. Plus, I work for a company that's so great. They're supportive and loving and fun. They support us being fun. I mean, if you've ever been on Southwest Airlines and had a singing, joke-telling flight attendant,
oh yeah,
you
that's
know that
awesome.
they promote it to be fun.
Yeah,
So-
that's wonderful. Okay, so a big question is, do you ever have to get weighed in? Did y'all ever have weigh-ins?
At the very beginning, we had a height weight restriction.
Yeah.
But a flight attendant for, I want to say, Delta Airlines sued.
Yeah.
And so maybe I started in April at the ticket counter, and in October we had our last weigh-in. And at the ticket counter, you also have to have a height weight restriction. But any customer contact.
That's very interesting.
Flight attendants, operations agents, customer service agents.
I would have had no idea that it would affect other areas of airlines. But yeah, I mean, I and when did y'all stop being called stewardesses?
When they started letting men.
Okay, I wondered how. Do you remember the year of that?
No, but I know that one of my friends, hey Joe Dittman, one of my friends from high school is a flight attendant for Southwest, and I think he was in the first class. So he graduated from high school in 1982. So it was after that.
Yeah.
So I want to say maybe 85, 86, somewhere around there.
And I actually have a childhood friend that was a flight attendant that I saw, and this is years and years ago. His name is John Corville, and I don't know if anybody out there knows John, but if you do and you're a flight attendant with him, but I think it was Southwest. I want to say but it may have been United or something.
Right.
But
or here, Continental, big.
It may have been Continental, but I just thought that was interesting. That
but all those other airlines went out of business.
Yeah,
so.
I know. So I don't even know which one, but I thought it was Southwestern. But I thought, I need to ask Angie. I mean, Southwest. That is, I think I'm going to be like that for the rest of my life.
But you can't say Southwestern Airlines. You have to say Southwestern Airways.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Airways. Is it called Airways now and not airlines?
No. I mean, we're Southwest Airlines. But for some reason, people are like, do you work for Southwestern Airways? And I'm like, yeah. Yeah.
We only fly in the Southwest. That's correct.
Well, back in the day, Southwest, when they started in 1971, June 18th. 1971. They only flew from Dallas to San Antonio to
So
Houston.
it was Southwest Airlines.
Yeah. San Antonio, Houston, and Dallas. It was a triangle. There's a famous napkin in a bar in San Antonio where Herb and I want to say the guy from Muse that eventually had Muse
Yes.
Airways.
Wow.
Anyway, there was 3 of them that were trying to compete against Texas International.
Yeah.
And so they were like, they're lawyers and they're trying to get from, San Antonio, Houston, and Dallas. They kept flying there. So they just decided to make an airline.
Yeah.
And they drew a triangle on a napkin, and that napkin is
Yeah.
very, very famous. Sometimes
That's
people
cute.
use that just to kind of identify Southwest at classes. Southwest is studied all over the world because when we go into a city, it changes things.
Yeah.
But anyway, all right. So enough of Southwest. Fabulous.
Okay, that was fun,
It's been a
though.
fabulous job.
Congratulations.
But thank you. And I like the job thing. If you've had, let's say you've been in a job for more than 10 years.
Yes.
Tell us how many years and where
And
you've
what
been
it is.
working.
Yeah.
And-
We'll give some plugs to some companies. If you're happy enough to have worked there for 10 years, let us know.
And why do you stay there? You
Yeah.
know, like Southwest not only has competitive salaries, which they did not when I started, by the
Wow.
way, but now we are the highest paid flight attendants. So
Oh,
not
that's
only
pretty
that,
cool.
we have a very high profit sharing. We are the most profitable airline in the world. So
Yeah.
profit sharing is fabulous. We have incredible benefits. You get to fly free, your
Yeah.
kids, your parents.
Okay, so Southwest needs to give us some free tickets. I know you get to fly free, but we're giving them a big promo today.
That's it. That's it. Hey guys, send us some tickets.
That's right.
But things like profit sharing and
Yeah.
and a thing that wasn't as big in the past, which is now, is insurance.
Yes.
Insurance is so expensive, so hard
It's
to
horrible.
get. It was a great benefit always.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, so excited
Yeah,
when
absolutely.
you have insurance.
I
I was
know.
so sad. Candace turned 26 in April and
and she's off.
lost her flight. Lost her health benefits. And you're like, is it the great benefits? Is it
Yeah.
how wonderful they treat you?
Yeah.
I did open my mail today and I had a card that said, "Happy anniversary, love, Gary Kelly," which is the
Aw.
president,
Yeah.
and CEO of Southwest Airlines.
That's
And,
very sweet.
And so I was like, it's still personal. It's still
Yeah.
that kind of stuff.
No,
so
that's very
what is
sweet.
it that keeps you at your job?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And if you are just tuning in to Riding the Wave with Angie and Kelly, you are listening to KHEA Radio 99.5 FM. And we are live on Facebook also. You can comment, you can write us questions, and I won't be able to see them today. I don't have my laptop, but Angie will be able to keep up if anybody has any comments or questions. If you've been at a job for 10 years or more, let us know what it is and why have you stayed there. We have got a really great guest today that's about to come on the air with us and visit. It's Melissa Uresti. She is the owner of Crown Salon and Color Studio. I think that's the correct name of it.
Color Bar, I think.
Color Bar. Yeah, I love that. I love the name Color Bar.
Yeah,
That's
it's
pretty
kinda
cool. She has actually got a great story that I'm excited for everybody to hear because she started a couple of years ago a fashion show event fundraiser that benefits Elijah Rising. And Elijah Rising, if you're not familiar with them, they help rescue people from human trafficking and give them a new life and a new start and help them. It's really incredible. And Melissa, I'm not going to give anything away, but really a sweet story of why she started this event, which is really interesting. And so in a minute, as soon as Angie gives me the cue, I'll go get Melissa and we'll get her set up.
Wait, what is the cue? Throw the taco? No.
It's throw the taco. Angie's throwing the taco. It's time to go get our guest.
Where are
They're over there.
riding the wave?
They're over there.
wait.
Okay, I won't get out of the camera shot.
Same time as me.
It's over there.
Well, while you're
They're
up,
behind the thing. When I'm up, I'll get them.
yeah, while you're up, you can't leave the radio. People are just out there in their car and they're like, "Wait, what? What? I was in the middle of that story. What happened?"
I know it.
happened?
Exactly.
I would love if somebody would get, their kids at school and they're sitting there in the carpool line and then they get home and then they write us and say, "Oh my gosh, I always wanted to have a job at Southwest," or "Oh my gosh, I've been at my job for 10 years. I want to hear somebody from the radio. Come and check on us on Riding the Wave page on Facebook, Riding the Wave with Angie and Kelly page on Facebook. That would be so fabulous." Hi, Mom on Facebook. So nice when you check out and see that your mom is out there visiting you. So what's going on out there if you're picking up your kids today? You're riding the cars instead of riding the wave, and out in the Galveston County area. Let us know what's going on with you. Thanksgiving is coming up. We want to know what you're thankful for. We're going to be talking about that next week, obviously, and right on our Facebook page, the things that you're thankful for. Or if you have a fabulous story about Thanksgiving, we'll share that next week. So. Message us that on our Riding the Wave with Angie and Kelly Facebook page. And we'd love to hear your stories about Thanksgiving and what it means to you, what you're thankful for, or some just fabulous story of what happened to you on Thanksgiving, or how you celebrate it. When Kelly gets back, I'm going to ask her. But, when I was growing up, my family always pretty much had a friend Thanksgiving because we lived far from my relatives, and we were very active in our church. And so my mom and dad's friends were mostly friends from church, and we would have them all over at Thanksgiving. It wasn't odd for us to have 30 people at Thanksgiving. So that was always fun for us. Always a lot of kids to play with, always lots of different foods, not just the same ones that your family cooks. So, and I guess that'd be another thing. What I would really love is people to send me their Thanksgiving recipes for their favorite sides and favorite desserts, and so that we can have those for next week, so we can actually cook them, bake them, make them. So there's a lot of things that you need to write us this week. Thanksgiving stories, what you're thankful for, and your Thanksgiving recipes, and what you do for Thanksgiving. So we are having our guests come.
All right. And
and
we're live on Facebook right now, and we're live on the radio.
We are.
And we're going to let them introduce themselves in just a minute and say what y'all do. And tell us what you do, and then we'll talk about Elijah Rising and the amazing event that y'all just hosted, which is incredible. So
both tell us your names, which also helps me check your level on the microphone.
My name is Melissa, and I am with Crown Salon and Color Bar. I'm one of the owners.
And I'm Fawn, and I am also an owner of Crown Salon and Color Bar.
Let me fix her.
Yeah. Wow. So where is Crown Salon and Color Bar?
We're located in Seabrook with the same strip center as where Sam's Boat is.
Oh, okay.
It's on NASA Parkway.
Right.
And we're upstairs inside a place called Opulent Salon Suites.
Fabulous. And Kelly and I like everything to do with crowns, so it's nice. It's nice to have that name.
We actually got our name from scripture and talking about our crown, our hair being our crown and glory. So
it's funny when my kids were seniors in high school. Our church would have a senior day, a banquet, and whatever. And you gave their blessing, or somebody gave. They asked someone important in their lives to give their blessing, and my older two kids chose someone else, but my youngest daughter chose me to give her blessing, which is hard as a parent because then you just cry through the whole thing,
Yeah.
Or as a mom anyway. And she had been a Lunar Rendezvous princess that year. She's named after a queen and a princess, and so the Queen of Ethiopia in the Bible are called Candace, and that's her name. And then her middle name is Aurora, which is Sleeping Beauty, right? So Princess Aurora. But then the whole thing was about her being a princess, the daughter of a king. So same idea. So,
yeah, I love that
crown. So, all right. Well, we've lost Kelly. She's off in editorial land over there, and
lots of editing for the show that I have to control. Sorry about that.
I always love, I have to push these buttons and then check your levels, and then I'm like, done. Kelly's running cameras, setting levels, doing edits, and I'm just like.
Meanwhile, we're like, okay, what do we do?
I try.
Y'all are doing great.
I try and make it super, super difficult looking, but
yeah, y'all
anyway.
are doing great, and tell us, Melissa, Melissa's story when she contacted me to help MC her second annual, correct?
Yes, it is.
Be the Light fashion show that benefits Elijah Rising. Okay, I want you to tell the audience, how did you start this event? Because I think it's one of the sweetest stories.
I literally, my whole life I've really struggled with a relationship with God. I've had a little bit of a darker past, and about 4 years ago, I came into a relationship with God, and I was saved. And I've always been able to kind of hear God, but I've kind of tuned him out until, more recently, when one day I literally just woke up one day and I felt God tell me I needed to put on this fashion show, and it was to raise money for human trafficking. And I was like thinking, okay, I have never put on a fashion show before. I have no idea how to even start that. And I know nothing about human trafficking. And I will admit, I'm still a baby at learning. I know I've learned a lot, but there's so much, that goes on with this. So my friend here, my best friend, Fawn, also my business partner, she already had a passion of working with human trafficking. She had prayed about that a long time ago, and God put that on her heart to get involved with human trafficking, the fight against it. And we both had to evacuate for Hurricane Harvey, and I had already at that point thought I was going to do this fashion show, but then I was going to cancel it. But when I got back from evacuating with her, we went out to Arkansas. I saw a big billboard that said, "As the water rises, human trafficking will rise as well." And
wow.
I was like, man, okay, God, you're putting a big, bold sign in my face. You know?
That's crazy.
And I was still new at my relationship with God, so I literally walked, at the time I was at another hair salon, and I walked 2 doors down to a church, and I just wanted to go talk to the pastor because I knew he was always there. So I went into his office, and I was like, how do I know if God is really speaking to me? like, is this? And I started telling him, I broke down the fashion show and what I felt like I heard and what I should do. And I was like, I don't know if I should do this. I have no experience. I don't even know where to begin. I was just going to have this fashion show in our little hair salon and like maybe invite my parents to it. I was like, okay, I'm doing what you called me to do, God. I'm just going to invite my parents. And then the pastor of that church ended up, offering they had like a little banquet hall there for wedding receptions, and he was like, you can use our banquet hall for free. Wow. It's Pastor Brad at Living Word Church, by the way. He's a really awesome pastor. I wanted to throw that in there. But yeah, he offered his church, and the next thing I know, I was like, okay, I got a church, and he offered, like, they have a stage, so I made a runway there. And the next thing I know, I was like just going around asking businesses. I was like, I straight up told him, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, but if you would love to get involved and help in this, I feel God's calling me to do it. And, like, not a single person told me no. So that's how I knew, like, God's favor was all over it. Every single person got involved. She ended up staying and living in Arkansas. She was we were roommates and everything. But
I never came home from Harvey.
She never came home. Her
like,
family
you just locked Arkansas so much, or were you from
no,
there?
I had came from there, and I kind of went through, like, a rough past and stuff, and I really feel like God was kind of telling me to come to Houston. Like, this was before Harvey even happened. Like, I felt like God was kind of telling me, like, come to Houston, and I was like, no, God, I don't want to go to Houston. Like, I'm going to do my own thing. So I kind of, like, ran from that. And I was like, whatever, I'm going to live my life. So I lived my life. And then I had some crazy stuff happen, and I had to end up coming down to Houston, like, not by my choice. Like, it was, like, family kind of was like, hey, you need to go. So I went. And when I was down here, I was like, God, you didn't bring me any friends. You didn't bring me any family. Like, I have no one here. Like, what am I supposed to do other than an aunt and uncle I had known when I was little? Aww. So I was like, well, if you're going to bring me here, like, why am I here? And that was, like, when she goes back to the saying, like, I was kind of, like, praying, like, God, what am I supposed to do? Where do I go? And I really kept feeling human trafficking on my heart. And I was like, no, that's not something I want to do. Like, I'm not called for that, So I kind of just turned from it and put it off. And then we were talking one day, and I was like, Melissa, like, I keep feeling like human trafficking is something I keep feeling on my heart. Like, what if that is something God's telling me? And she's like, well, pray about it, like, explore it. Like, I'm so thankful for her being my best friend, because she's really, like, built me up and encouraged me, like, with God. Like, I grew up with I grew up in private school. I grew up going to church. I grew up with all that. And whereas Melissa didn't. And so it was like the times that I was kind of struggling with that, Melissa was kind of the one, like, hey, like, as your best friend, like, maybe, like, pointing me back to God, I guess. Like, maybe you should pray about that. Maybe you should do that. So when I left to Arkansas from Harvey, I was like, my parents kind of gave me, like, an offer that was too good to be true. And, like, you can take over a business, you can move into this apartment, you can, like, do all this stuff. And they offered to, like, give me the world. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, like, that seems so easy, so perfect. And that was me, like, kind of stepping back out of the will of God. And I was like, wait a minute, like, okay, So I kind of live my life, and then it goes back to like Melissa's story.
So, yeah, and then that was a little side story.
Sorry for that little tidbit.
But that's a good background on you. And go ahead and finish your.
So when I started doing the fashion show stuff, she wasn't around, and I was like, man, okay, she's the one that has this passion for this. I'm doing it now without her. And I was like, I just got to do it because I feel like God's asking me to do it. And I think the week before the fashion show, the first one, I had asked her to come out and help with the event. Like I wanted her to come set. I was like, you've got to see this. I was like, so many people have been, agreeing to get involved. I had somebody help send out 10,000 emails to it.
Wow.
Like all this. It was just a big deal, to me, because I was like, I started off not knowing what the heck I was doing, and then jumping into it, and she decided to come out, and part of me in my mind was thinking, man, I bet God really put it in me to do this to help get her, it really
bring me
helped
back.
bring her back and get her what she was supposed to be doing. But it's also created something in me, and she came back. We set up. She helped me within a day get everything set up. We set out, I think, 100 chairs for this event, and I was like, man, if we got these filled, like that'd be crazy. We had every single chair filled up, and then people were standing. So many people came, and I was like in shock. I felt like it could only have been from God, because like I said, did not know what I was doing with that, And then I was prophesied, like maybe a little bit after that I was going to be having these fashion shows on a yearly basis. And the first time I had chosen an outreach program that was a different, it was with the fight against human trafficking. It was just a different organization. And this time I felt more led to give to Elijah Rising. But so we just did our most recent one last month, October, and I got to meet you, and that was wonderful.
It was, and I remember coming to the show.
Sorry, is this the one that y'all did at Waters at?
Yes. And talking
beautiful.
to Angie about it, because I have different friends that are, Angie and I both have friends that are involved with human trafficking events and things like that, and it's one of their charities that they really help get to, but I didn't really know much about it. Right. And so this was very eye-opening for me, and it was a huge honor to be a part of it. And Angie, I have to tell you this because this was so sweet. Before the fashion show started, I looked into the room, and all of the girls, Fawn, Melissa, and their staff, and all the models were in a circle saying a prayer right before the fashion show started. And I thought, this is how they're supposed to do this. I mean, it was just wonderful. And I wanted you, and you may have already wanted to talk about this, but Angie's a flight attendant, and when we were talking about human trafficking, they're actually taught how to look for signs of somebody on an airplane that maybe. Will you tell us a little bit about that? It's really interesting.
I mean, I think that it just helps. I don't know how much when you're giving to the organization, how much they talk about how people can look for the signs, who they can report it to, and stuff like that. I don't know what information you have, but I do know as a flight attendant, we are taught to look at the signs, and some of them just, off the top of my head are the, if they don't speak for themselves, if they do, they sound like they're off of a script. They don't seem to know where they're going. The people that are working, like the ticket counter when they're coming in and things like that, they don't hold their own passports. They don't, they don't seem to know the stuff, the information about where they're going, what their time of their flights are, and stuff like that. And I think that if people are questioning it at the front, then they'll ask the person, so who are y'all going to go see? Just try and make it natural, because you don't want them to get hurt or injured or in more trouble or whatever. As natural as you can, we ask them questions, and just like we would normally, like, oh my gosh, you're dressed so cute. Where are you going? Who are you going to go see? Oh yeah, and if they don't know, or they're like, look at the other person, so I have tried to look this up, and I haven't been back at work. I need to look it up. There is a signal that they can write on their hands, and I cannot for the life of me think of what it is. And I'm like, what a horrible flight attendant, because if they showed me something on their hands, would I know? Like they put an X on their hand, or their, something. I'm going to have to find out.
Seen the X's,
but
the red
that's
X's.
more to like stamp out, like raise awareness, I guess, stamp it out. Like, I don't know how, I go into like with Elijah Rising, and I do their interventions. And so I've kind of like volunteered my time, and that's something like as I'm stepping into my calling with like, hey God, what do you want me to do with my, with this? like that's something I've kind of felt God led me to do. So I've gone in, you know, different areas and different things like hotels and strip clubs around the area, kind of just like speaking with the women and just different things like that. And I just feel like it's really like you said, like some of them don't really kind of know like where they're going, where they've been, like, but then also like it just kind of changes with, you know, different things. So
Yeah.
I know.
Well,
what
for
you're
us,
talking,
obviously, because
right.
we're talking about at an airport when they're
right.
traveling.
So I don't know the hand signal, like the thing, but I've heard about it.
I fail as a flight attendant on my anniversary
Ding, ding,
today.
ding, ding, ding.
We both need to look it up.
You know,
Exactly.
I don't care what it is. Show your flight attendant something written on your
Right.
hand so that you can just flash it and whatever, and we will just be like, oh wait, she flashed me
Yeah.
something. You know,
Right.
Oh, I
If,
know
if you're
exactly.
out there and you're trying to get a signal, we don't care what you put. You know, flash us the signal on your hand, and we'll be like, oh wait, they're trying to tell us
Yes,
something.
yes.
And we do have to pick up on things, you know, no matter what. I mean, people are uncomfortable next to people. Sometimes they don't want to tell you. They'll pass a napkin to us that'll say like, hey, I don't feel like I can get out, but this guy next to me is making me uncomfortable. And we'll be like, oh my gosh, lady, that, you know, that seat that you wanted up front is available. And then, you know, move them or whatever.
Right.
And so we are conscious of what people are trying to tell us. Maybe we don't know ever exactly what it was, but if they try and flash us a signal of any kind, we'll try and get them out
Right.
for a conversation with us, or they'll try and go to the bathroom and, you know, tell us or whatever. And feel free to talk to your flight attendants because they can help you. You know, we can
Yeah.
talk to the pilots. There can be police
Right.
officers at the door. You don't have to leave that airplane without being helped. So if you're being trafficked on an airplane, that's a way that you can absolutely get help because you are in a confined space. You can get a message to us. We can have policemen at the door.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but what a beautiful calling that you've had. So, how much money do your events raise about average?
Well, with the newness of it, because I feel like
Right.
it can get bigger. The first year we raised about, I want to say 2,000. This year it
Wow.
was 3,000.
Yeah,
The
great.
first year I didn't sell any tickets. This year I upped the game a little bit.
Yeah.
and sold
Right.
some tickets, but I'm hoping with each year that we do this, we raise more and more.
I think you will.
Absolutely.
That those funds go towards really amazing things. They just opened up the restoration homes.
It's a restoration home, which
Awesome.
that's something like girls can come in and they get like the help that they need, and they have people, you know, set up, which that's something I'm looking more into, like maybe volunteering my time or, you know,
Yeah.
things to help because
They pull those
new,
girls out of
so-
that, and they get them in those homes, and they help set them up with like their jobs and get their life back on track and stuff. So
Melissa,
I know a lot of them.
Will you talk more into the mic? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. No, that's okay. I just can't hear you. And I want to make sure everybody can hear you on the radio as well.
I said that they use a lot of those funds to help with stuff like the restoration
Yeah.
homes, so that they can get the women back on track with their lives, back into new jobs and, you know, a place to live. And sometimes they'll have their children and stuff with them too. So.
Absolutely. And one thing that I learned from Sam from Elijah Rising is that they have their own store where all of these people who are living in these homes being rescued, they make things so that they can make a living and they actually get paid.
Yes.
And the public can go and shop there. Can y'all tell us a little bit about that? Do you know enough about it? I
mean,
wish I knew more about it.
we've gone to the store and visited a few times.
Yeah.
But
It's open to the public, though.
Right.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Okay.
And, I mean, it's something like you said that the girls can go in and work to like make a living. But
Yeah.
I mean,
They make like candles.
Yeah, it's
bath
incredible.
product. They make all kinds of stuff, and we've actually we've thrown a pretty penny on a lot of the stuff that they carry too,
Yes.
to help the cause. But we also love the stuff. So.
Yeah.
Where is the store located?
It's on.
I can't remember. It's
It's
downtown
in Houston. I can look it up for you.
Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
And if you are just tuning in, you're listening to Riding the Wave with Angie and Kelly right here on KHEA Radio.
99.5 FM.
Yeah, and we've got in the studio Fawn and Melissa from Crown Salon and Color Bar, right?
Yes.
And which is located where, ladies?
In Seabrook by Sam's Boat.
It's on
What's
NASA
the
Parkway.
address?
It's
NASA Parkway.
2800 NASA Park. Oh, I'm sorry,
3101
3101 NASA Parkway.
Sounds like something me and Angie do.
They can talk at the same time like us.
Yes.
That's what happens when you're best friends.
Yeah.
Like,
You know, we totally
All
did
these
that on
addresses.
accident the first time, and then when they were like, Gardy and Kurt were laughing. They were like, "Oh, that sounded so cool." So then we just keep doing it. Now it's our shtick.
That's right. Okay, so what hours are you open at your salon? So if somebody's wants to make an appointment,
10 to 7 during the week, and about 9 to 5 on Saturdays. We're closed Sundays and Mondays.
Oh, good for you.
And we also use our salon as a platform to minister to people about Jesus. And we also, I know God sends us these people, but we get people like women of domestic violence and abuse. And it's just crazy the amount of people that we sit in our chair and we talk to about just this kind of stuff, the stuff we do, and then they open up to us about it all.
Yeah.
Right. Well, don't people open up at a beauty salon?
Exactly.
Yes, we're like total therapists.
Gossip Central. It's where you go see your therapist.
They say that a woman's best friend is her OBGYN, her hairdresser, and there's one other thing, and I don't remember what it is.
But they'll know your secrets.
You talk about everything. Yeah, isn't that funny? And don't you love that they've made it a place where you actually talk about God and Jesus and make people feel comfortable and think, I can actually tell them something. I won't get in trouble. Right. They're actually here to help me and maybe, give me a little guidance.
And make me look fabulous.
Absolutely. And when I walk out the door, I'm going to look even better.
Yeah.
And it's hair salons are special people because you walk in looking one way and you walk out feeling totally better.
Like both of us have just got our hair all cut off.
Yeah, I know it. Exactly.
We're totally different. So now what if somebody wants to volunteer for your fashion show? How can they find out when they're going to happen? So it'll be like, what month was that?
Well,
October.
we just did October. I actually think I want to push the next one. It's a little bit longer than a year from now. It's going to be January of 2021. That's because obviously this January is too soon for me. I need time. And,
we completely understand.
Throw that together overnight.
Which I will say, Melissa is really great at throwing things together pretty quickly. Because the first fashion show that we did have, for me being out of state and coming back into state, seeing how well she threw that together, I was like, whoa, this is so crazy. So
side job, event planner. But
exactly.
Hashtag I can do your hair and plan your event.
Yes,
right.
I'm a woman of many trades. But no, it's going to be January 2021. I wanted to do it in the month of January because that is Human Trafficking Awareness Month. Oh. And I thought it'd be really cool to do it that month. So
very good.
I'm gonna push it a little bit later. I know it's kind of far, but I think that I can make it a little bit better.
No, and look, Angie and I'll help any way we can and help you promote it. But tell us a little bit about, sponsors. Angie and I know that sponsors make an event what it is because without their generosity, you don't really have an event. And so can you all tell us a little bit about your sponsors that you had this year and maybe their first year in?
We had, the first year we worked with Brave Boutique, and they provided all the clothing for us. I know.
Yes.
They have such cute stuff, right?
Yeah.
And they're a Christian-based store, so I love that too. This year, I went with 3 boutiques that offered the clothing for us. It was Wonder Market, which is next to Nobi and Hyde Park restaurants on NASA Parkway. And then we had Moxie District 31. That's over off on El Dorado.
Yeah,
and
then, Abby Lee.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's so sweet, right?
She's precious.
I know. Okay, and then Ivory Boutique.
That's right.
Which I love them as well. They have such cute clothing, for sure. But
and my daughter loves that one.
I got them involved. We got a lot of help with the girls over at Wonder Market. They were amazing. They helped get donations from Katz's Coffee. They donated 100 bottles of cold brew coffee to us.
Yes, that was awesome.
Yeah, and then we had, of course, Water's Edge. The girls at Water's Edge had offered their venue to me anytime, we want to host this event. So they have a beautiful location, too.
It is really beautiful.
And
they can do your weddings. And,
It's
a little Water's Edge bug.
It's
on the water.
And we have to say this because Water's Edge, the girls there, and Phil, of course, the owner, who's amazing, they literally are very generous about helping with events for the community. They're very giving, aren't they? And it's just so nice to have that gorgeous of a venue where those people go, come on, bring it. We're here to help and be a part of this community. And it's awesome.
Right.
Yeah.
And then we had School of Rock. They came out and helped. They were so I love the kids that come and do it. That is so cute to me. But I love that. I have a big passion for music. So I just went in there and asked them for a gift card for our silent auction, and they're like, "Can we perform?" And I was like, "Yeah,
Don't you love that?
we want y'all to perform." Like we were looking for like a DJ or something, but they offered, so we're like, yes, we'll totally take you
Wonderful, wonderful talent all the time. It's
so
awesome.
Fun. You know, they in May they have the Lions Club does the big music festival in League City, and they always have kind of a little gazebo over there that the kids from School of Rock perform. But one of the main stage performers was Nick and the Groove.
Yes,
and they're from School of Rock, and I was like waiting for the big performer, you know, and so I was like, okay, I was like, okay, I'm gonna run over and get something to eat real quick while they're performing.
Yeah.
I literally walked across, went running back over to hear this guy perform.
Amazing.
So I'm videotaping as I walk back across, and then I was like, oh, that was a good song, and then I'm gonna go get food, and then I had to go. I was like, oh my gosh, I could not leave. I could not leave because
they're
this
incredible.
17-year-old kid was singing like Lady
Incredible.
Gaga.
and I'm going to tell you, School of Rock, I actually taught voice lessons at School of Rock for a year and a half, and was very familiar of how that place works. And they are very supportive, and these kids that come in just excited to learn about music. And I did love how they would put all these kids together. And Nick and the Groove got put together at School of Rock from different kids that were playing, and that's how they've become pretty famous in the Clear Lake area. And so it's just awesome. I loved it that they were there.
Yeah. I do. I love that. Sorry.
So good.
I would go off into my stories, but I was like, no.
So good.
Focus. Talking
I'm
about.
trying to think what else we had. Photographers. We had John Segovia's
Photography.
Yeah, photography, and then I can't remember some of the names. Okay, we had the cupcake.
Yes,
lady.
I was going to say there were cupcakes.
Cupcake lady.
I told
remember.
Melissa
Yes.
from the beginning, I was like, I don't care what you do with the fashion show, but cupcakes are my passion. So can we please have good cupcakes? So I'm
And
glad
if
she
people could
delivered.
dress up as cupcakes, that would be even better.
Right?
the cupcake dress.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
she's all about the cupcake.
Well, I've
Angie
told her
probably
that
has
since
one.
day one.
Yeah,
like, I
both
don't care
fashion
what
shows.
you do.
No, but you know what? There was this.
Oh, well,
there was this dress store called Fran Nicodemus. It was a wedding dress store
Oh, how funny.
on Nass Road 1 back in the day, like from the 70s to maybe the early 90s here in the area. And my best friend and I always got asked to model for them in their shows, you know, like we do. and there I was like a tiny little gymnast, right? So I like wore like a little -0 or something. And they had this dress that was this tiny little waist, but it was like big old poofy, like layer, and she could never get anybody to fit in it. And then I wore that dress like 19 times in fashion shows because nobody's ever going to buy this dress unless you're 12. And
or going to a cupcake party.
Right, but I always called it. I always called it
With
I always
Fawn and
called it
Melissa.
the wedding cake dress.
Yeah.
But it definitely was much more a cupcake dress.
Yes, hilarious.
But you know that was the 80s and it was appropriate. But now we're gonna find that.
It's all
cupcake
coming
dress.
back,
No.
sister.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to see that dress on you.
Yeah, it's all coming back.
Maybe you can model
70s
it
and
next year
80s.
at the
Yeah,
fashion
That's
show.
right.
Well, I am no longer that size, but maybe
That's
you
hilarious.
know we can get Ruby Ashraf from
That's
Just Galaxy.
right.
Surely she can find me something that's cupcakey.
In fact,
Yes.
I was gonna, Angie and I.
just for you, Fawn. I'll wear a
Thank
cupcake.
you.
That's right. I was gonna let y'all know that Ruby Ashraf that owns Dress Galaxy in Lake City. I guarantee that Angie and I could ask her to be one of your sponsors for gowns or cocktails or
that'd be
something
cool.
fun.
Long dresses and
Yeah.
fashion shows are so fun.
Yeah.
Yes.
I thought about in the future getting male models to
Oh.
model stuff
Oh,
too.
yeah.
Oh,
They're a
absolutely.
big hit.
They are
Big
big
hit.
hits. They're the bigger hit.
Huge, I say, big hit.
Male models are the bigger hit at a fashion show, and you will sell more tickets.
Oh yeah.
Interesting.
You know.
Well, because it's normally
So-
women that go to
Yeah.
fashion shows. And,
Yeah.
women dress for women, so that's absolutely a great thing. But
Yeah.
women like to look at men. So,
Yeah.
that's fun.
Well, and it's nice because if you go just with girls, it's and you're married or you're dating. You love seeing an outfit on and go, I would love my husband to wear that. Oh my gosh, my boyfriend would look great in that, and you do. It's a great selling point besides being just fun.
Right.
You know.
Are you trying to just take away from the fact that they just want to look at the guy models?
Yeah. Well, I think.
Were you
that,
trying trying to swerve away from that fact there?
I'm actually thinking that you can get some pretty good stores to be sponsors if you have male models as well. Yes. And it just helps. It's a good little bonus there for everybody.
And that's one thing to remember too, is women are not the only ones getting trafficked. Men get trafficked also. So I mean,
absolutely.
Another little tidbit.
No. And you don't think about that. I mean, I didn't until Sam was talking about it's men and women. And so, if you know somebody that you feel like is going through something or in a bad relationship, go ahead and ask them. Go ahead and try to get them some help, because sometimes they're just waiting for somebody to help them because they don't know what to do.
Right. And I think that's something that we don't think about very often. We do the Barry a Turning Point fashion show every year. And well, from 2 years ago, one of my big things that I wanted the impact of the statistics. And we just had the guys that were modeling open their shirts with these numbers, and the MC read off the statistics. And one of them was 333,000 men are victims of domestic violence. I mean, that's just not a real number. No. Right. But whatever it was, the number. And then they were like, male victims of domestic violence a year. And you were like, the whole audience almost literally gasped because you just don't think about it.
No.
Or we don't think about any of the statistics about domestic violence. I don't know what the statistics are. I know that Houston is a huge place for human trafficking. Yeah. Not one of the statistics of Houston that we're proud of, but we are the largest city in a state that borders a border, and so a Mexican border, and where a lot of trafficking comes through from all places, South America and all that. But the connection point is our southern borders in Mexico, and I've heard that that's the problem, is because Houston is the largest city that connects down there.
Yeah,
it's also a large port, right?
Yeah.
So
and the interesting thing is that you're exactly right. Except people forget that it happens everywhere.
Right.
And large cities attract it because there's so many people and it's easier to hide. But smaller cities, it can be happening everywhere right in your backyard. So I think if everybody's more aware, and this is what Elijah Rising is helping to do, really make people more aware of what's happening, and that everybody can be a part of the solution. We just have to be willing to kind of step out there and help, volunteer, whatever you can do. And I loved, Melissa, when I first visited with you on the phone and we were talking about how you started this, I loved the story. I think it's important for people to go, okay, wow. She said, I felt like God was telling me to do something. I've never done it before. And I just did it. And that's what life's about. It's okay to be scared. We all are when we're feel like we're being called.
I was scared to come talk on the radio today.
I had to call her and give her a big pep talk.
Y'all are what? You're wonderful.
So
did we find out the location of the store for Elijah Rising?
Pulled it up.
And then also, do we know anything about, can people volunteer there, or is there?
Elijah Rising, that's one thing, because I volunteer with them. So if you want to volunteer with anything, and they have intervention teams that go out North Houston, South Houston, we have the Galveston team, we have teams all over. If you just go to their website, which is www.elijahrising.org. There you can go and click, and there's a tab on there, I believe, that says where the interventions are, and you can go in and click and join
wonderful.
an intervention. And not only that, they have van tours, and they have all kinds of the museum and the store and different neat things you can
just
get
did a gala.
With.
Yeah,
gala that raises
it's wonderful.
Money,
so the store is 1135 East 11th Street in Houston, Texas, and it is just the Elijah Rising store.
Where is 11th Street? What do y'all know what part of
that sounds
town
like the Heights?
Yeah, I think
that's
the
what I'm
area.
thinking.
Because I used to live on 13th Street in the Heights, and 11th is a major street with a bunch of businesses. I don't want to lead you wrong, but that sounds
Rising,
like
they have a coffee shop that the proceeds it's not Elijah Rising's coffee shop, but there is
Second Cup.
the Second Cup,
that's right.
That they have posters and stuff all over their store that raise awareness about human trafficking.
It's wonderful.
Yeah, their proceeds or whatever they make, give a portion of it to a human trafficking
That's
organization.
wonderful. Mm-hmm. That's wonderful. And what people need to remember that is Elijah Rising, when they raise this money, where does the money go to? What does it help do? Because that's really important to know.
Well, like I said, I mean, I just kind of volunteer, so I don't really know like all of where they put it, but I know that they just opened like a restoration home. They have different teams that they have go out and do, different stuff. But their main goal is like raise awareness, really get people involved, and like really bring people to the forefronts, because it is happening in our city. And so many people think like, oh, it can't happen in my city, or oh, it doesn't happen here, in League City or Galveston or Houston or any, of these cities. Right. But it is happening, and people don't understand that like it is around.
Yes.
And it's here, and
it's local.
They're trying to raise that awareness. Like, we are going in and we are doing these things. So like the more people that get involved and the more people that volunteer time and all that, like it helps. It really does help.
And I guess I said that wrong really quickly before I let Angie talk, but I meant that almost all the money, I mean, it pays minimal bills. The money that is raised goes to build these homes and these
help the women.
I mean, the money really goes local to help all these people, and it's really wonderful.
Right. Now, is Elijah Rising a Houston organization or a national organization?
I believe that they are Houston.
They're local.
But we Elijah Rising works with other organizations, and that's one thing. Like you said earlier, Houston is a big city for human trafficking. So we're Elijah Rising is working with other organizations. So it's like a united front of all these different organizations getting together and raising awareness and having different teams and just all this stuff. So it's like it's getting taken care of like on a global level, but here in our city we have other organizations too. So
Well, so would you give us the email address one more? I mean, not the email, the website address one more time?
Yes, it's www.elijahrising.org, and you can go on there and just really get in. It shows where their money goes. It shows everything. You can pull it all up, and ways to get involved. It talks about their store. There's all kinds of stuff on their website.
Right. Yeah. So it sounds like you can volunteer for a lot of events. Whether you want to help with the
gala
or
well, I don't know
anything
about
all
that because, like I said, I don't work for.
But I mean, usually fundraisers go. Need
but
volunteers.
I do know that they have intervention teams that go out. So.
Right. It's wonderful. It's wonderful.
So probably anybody's talents, whatever they need. Or if you're a sponsor and you want to help out with their event, it's not going to be till 2021, but you can go to
It's so far away, right?
It'll be here
Salon.
before you know
it's going to come so fast.
It does. Right. It happens so fast. And Crown Salon and Color Bar in Seabrook.
But they can hit up our email. It's crownsalonandcolorbar@gmail.com.
Okay.
If anyone wants to get involved, I'm always looking for vendors or boutiques that want to help sponsor, or people that just want to do hands-on volunteering.
Or even better, make an appointment, go get your hair done, and while you're talking with her, say, I'd love to volunteer. And you can just start a list. You can just start a list of people that want to volunteer or sponsors that are interested in what's a little bit closer.
Right.
Then you can delegate.
That's right. Because once you go to Crown Salon and Color Bar, you're not only going to look great, you're going to feel great.
Yes,
that's right.
Look at these people. They're going to make you feel
beautiful.
awesome.
And their message, your hearts are beautiful. We're going to talk just a couple of minutes about our Thanksgiving stuff that we're going to be talking about. But I'd want to say that I'm thankful for you and your big, beautiful hearts. And,
Thank you.
What you're doing in the community. And
thank you for inviting us here.
Well, what a beautiful thing that you're doing. And I love how you were so open to God talking to you. I think that people don't always think about that. And if we do a lot of but I don't want to. I don't want to, God. Right. I don't want to do what you're telling me to. I have this path, and you're like,
we've both struggled with
that. We both go through that. I feel like on the daily, but that's where I'm so thankful that she's my best friend to kind of be like, hey, get back on track with God.
We got to encourage each other.
That's right.
So.
Hey, look, everybody's like that. And it's good to have friends and surround yourself with people that keep you upbeat, focused, and are there for you to encourage you every step of the way. Because we all need it.
We were talking earlier about how somebody from the church's friends had led them astray to do not good things. And you're like, remember your mom was like, the friends that you hang out with, you're a bad influence on you. And you're like, oh, but Johnny's so nice. I really like hanging out with him. And they're like, I can see it. That's a bad influence. And you're like, if you saw good in them, then that's great. See good in them. But if they really are a bad influence, maybe hanging out with them is not the best thing, because hanging out with people that influence you positively makes your life way more positive. All right, well, I have a couple things that I'm thankful for. We were talking about sponsors earlier, and I know that this year was Ms. America for me, and one person I want to really thank is Michael Slevins was watching. I don't know if he's still on with Tax Recourse, and he was my main sponsor for Ms. America.
That's right.
And now people are starting to get their tax. Whatever your form that tells you how much you're paying for taxes. Now, he mostly does businesses, but I didn't know that this was a thing. If you have a business that feels like you're paying too much in property taxes, you can call Michael at Tax Recourse, and they will help fight for your taxes for you. And they make no money if you make no money.
Oh, that's good.
So they can save you money on your taxes. And if they don't, well, then they did it for free.
Yeah.
But if they do, I'm sure they get a percentage. I don't know what percentage. But, if this is something that, we have high property taxes around here. So if you want to fight for that, you can write on our Facebook page and get your we'll get the contact information for him. Also, the city of League City does a lot for us. And
so nice.
They sent you a present.
Oh, thank you.
So we have
thank
the
you,
city of League City.
Awesome.
These
Love
are from
this.
Janice Hallisey,
Thank
whose
you,
husband
Janice.
is the mayor, who has been under the weather and had pneumonia this week. So our prayers are with you, Mayor Pat Hallisey.
Yeah.
And he is coming home. He is doing
Please
better.
feel better. Yeah.
So our prayers are with you, but very thankful for those people. Holiday in the Parks coming up on December 6th, 7th, and 8th. So we want everybody to go out there in League City. So
yes, and KHEA's Christmas in KHEA is this Saturday from 10 till about 9. It's going to be fun, full of fun family things to do all day, and the Christmas tree lighting is at night. About, I think, 6 or 7.
And the other thankful sponsor that I had to say is KHEA Kunis.
Yes.
She helps try and make me beautiful and not look so old.
Yeah.
So she's wonderful. She's one of the best at
awesome.
Injections. If you do Botox, or she has another version for it, and all of those kind of things.
Yeah.
You can also write on our Facebook page and get the information for her. And I was talking about thankful. Next week, we're going to have our Thanksgiving show, and we want to have your favorite recipe for Thanksgiving. So share that. We might pick the best one and share it, but start writing them today so we can test them out. And then
I don't cook. So if you want to make
Paul
it
does.
and bring it up here, that would be really awesome.
Paul cooks. We can follow a recipe. So write on our Facebook page your what you do for Thanksgiving. Is it just your family? Do you have
any traditions you do? That'd be awesome.
Those are so fun. Send us a holiday recipe and tell us what you're thankful for, who you're thankful for. And once you put them on Facebook, they are out there. So I was going to say we can share them, but they're already out there. But I'd like to have you do some of that, send some of that in to us. Again, thank you so much
Yes, thank you.
for
Thank you
coming
for
out
having
here
us
and
on.
all that you do.
And I just want to say what I'm thankful for really quickly before we end the show.
Me?
I'm grateful for,
Oh, thanks.
yes,
No, I'm just kidding.
for my family, my friends, and for that God has brought me some of the most amazing people in my life this past year. And you two are some of them. And what you do, really, really. And for Angie, for my family, for friends, just everybody, and grateful every day.
Are we going to have a Friendsgiving?
Yes, let's have a Friendsgiving.
Yeah.
We'll do it here.
My kids do that. They have a
Yeah.
Friendsgiving with their friends.
Oh, yeah, that's so fun.
This
We
week.
need to do it here and have a bunch of food to eat.
That's right.
Okay, well,
Guardian Kurt and everybody
before
at
Angie
Abundant Life.
cuts
Please
us
bring
off the
food.
radio, we are so grateful that y'all joined us today with our fabulous guests from Crown Salon and Color Bar, Melissa and Fawn, and talked about Elijah Rising. And we're going to let Angie have the last word. But we hope you have a blessed day and a great rest of your week. And we will see you next Monday on Riding the Wave with Angie and Kelly.
And I will say that we're thankful for all of you out there on the radio for listening to us every Monday from 3 to 4 right here at KHEA Radio 99.5 in Galveston County. And those of you that watch us on Facebook every week, thank you. Thank you for your friendships. And we're going to just take you out with some music here.
Yeah, and everybody to Facebook, wave at that camera right there. Y'all wave. Bye.
But I lied because we still have 54 seconds, and that's so long on radio.
All right. Well, we're leaving Facebook right now, so we'll see y'all later.
Bye, Facebook. But we are grateful to everybody out there on 99.5 for tuning in and listening to us while you're here in Galveston County and League City. all the way up to League City and all the way down to Bolivar. We're grateful for all of you. I know we kind of concentrate on the mark out here, but we do have kind of a wider range for that. And so we appreciate it.